Hi guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. Wasn't going to do a video today, needed a little break, but put a little exclusive line out earlier which I'm about to talk about, and I'll give you an update on Malik Thiaw as well. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, leave your comments on the video, give me a thumbs up if this is the sort of content that you like. I'm back here today. Was here Friday and Saturday, and here we are back here today doing a few lives talking about, you guessed it, Alexander Isak, also Malik Thiaw and Kieran Trippier, which is the reason for my video today. A story I brought to you earlier on Sky Sports News. If you didn't see it, Monaco, AS Monaco over in France are showing some serious interest in Kieran Trippier, and they're exploring the possibility of doing a deal with Newcastle for the England international. Now, this obviously comes out of the blue. First, we have heard of it, but I can tell you that there is interest there from Monaco, and they're keen to do a deal. Remember, Trippier has got 1 year left in his Newcastle contract, so he will be out of contract at the end of next summer, and Newcastle won't be able to make any money for him. If there is an approach from Monaco, and I'm suspecting there probably will be in the coming days, then Newcastle will have a decision to make. Now, my information is that Newcastle don't want to sell. They value Trippier highly. They want him to be a big part this season moving forward. If you look at it at the moment, he's in the starting lineup in my opinion. I think it'll be himself at right back and Tino at left back on Saturday against Aston Villa in the season opener. There's question marks whether that will continue for the whole season. Will Lewis Hall come back in when he's fit and ready? It looks like he's not quite there yet, potentially, and then that could cast a doubt into what Trippier's role is moving forward. But look, I think Kieran will still play a lot of games. Without doubt, he's important to the manager, the players. He's a real leader in that dressing room. The players listen to what he says. He's a voice. He's not played as much in the last year or two. He's never thrown his toys out the pram. He gets on, like a seasoned pro, and really deals with being left out on the bench really well. Like, he's always there to help the rest of the players, as you know, when he was injured. Travelled down to all the away games to cheer the team on a couple of seasons back, and he's just a great character around the place. So I can see why Eddie and Newcastle would want to keep him. I could also see why Trippier might at some stage want to try something new. As we know, Bayern Munich came in for him, God, when was that? A year and a half ago now, maybe? Galatasaray came in for him. I believe there's also been interest from Saudi Arabia in his services this summer as well. And he's sort of been told he's had to stay a couple of times because Newcastle have needed him. And look, he loves it here, loves playing for the club, loves the fans. He's on a good wage here, and he's really brought a lot to the club since he joined. But remember, he is 34 years old, and there probably will come a stage when Trippier probably does want to try something else, and he will want to elongate his career. Will Newcastle offer him a new deal? We'll have to wait and see. As I say, he's only 1 year left. But look, he's been amazing for the club. Everything he's done behind the scenes, everything he's done on the pitch, he's been a really, really good player. He's started everything off after the takeover. Nobody could believe when Newcastle managed to sign Kieran Trippier, and he without doubt helped try and attract some of the big names that have played here. I think he played a key role in the likes of Sven Botman arriving, I think Chris Wood as well. Like, he's played a key role in a number of these players signed for Newcastle over the years, and I think you don't need me to tell you just how important he is to the football club and the role he's played these last sort of 4 years. But yeah, the interest is there from Monaco in his services. They are exploring making a move. As I understand it, they've not yet made an approach to Newcastle, but could do so. I just don't think Newcastle will allow him to leave now. What is he worth with 1 year left in his deal? 4 million, 5 million pounds, something like that. Newcastle have to weigh up whether it would be worth selling him and bring in that amount of money. Obviously, they felt it was worth it for Sean Longstaff, and they brought in the 12 rising to 15. Probably a good deal for a guy with 1 year left in his contract. But I think for Trippier, with taking his age into consideration at 34, he's not going to be worth the same amount that Sean Longstaff was. So let's see what happens with that. The other update we've got is Malik Thiaw, of course, as you know, is in the country. He landed around about 10 o'clock last night, didn't head out there to get any shots because it was pitch dark, but started his medical this morning. Of course, a 2-part medical. I would expect it to be completed by today, and Newcastle to hopefully formalise and announce the transfer tomorrow. However, sometimes it has taken a little bit longer recently. The Elanga one took so long because there was multiple agents involved, whereas they shouldn't have the same problem with this one. I think there's a hope that he could be involved in training, if not tomorrow, by Wednesday, and then there's hope that he'll be in the squad for the season opener away to Aston Villa on Saturday. God, it started raining here at St James's Park. So that's that news. Alexander Isak, I'm not going to go into a big dialogue on this at the moment, but just a brief update. He's still training on his own, away from the group. I just can't see that changing until the window closes. I just think he's going to be away from the group, and it's going to be, once the window closes, the season will be well underway. Of course, he'll miss that Liverpool game, whoever he's playing for, the Newcastle-Liverpool game here on the 25th of August. But I just think until the window closes, he'll remain training away from the group, unless obviously an offer comes in from Liverpool that Newcastle can't refuse. But look, as time goes on, we're now 3 weeks today, right now, what is it, 7 o'clock? We stood here in exactly 3 weeks' time as the window closes. Cannot wait for that, by the way. I just think as every day slips past, it's going to be harder and harder for that deal to get done. This is a big transfer, eye-watering sum of money. It'll be a Premier League record. It's not the sort of transfer that's just going to happen overnight. So, again, I'll repeat, two things need to happen. Liverpool need to make a massive bid. I know we've been saying 150 million. I still think they'd probably get him for a little bit less than that. And Newcastle need a replacement. That is the biggest thing. Sesko was the one that they thought could replace him. I don't think the options are great for Newcastle now. People have mentioned Nicholas Jackson, Samu over in Porto. I don't see either of those getting off the ground. I just think for Newcastle the options are really, really slim now in terms of top level strikers to come in. There's not lots of them kicking around at this stage of the transfer window. They've all been snapped up by now. Sesko was the one that they thought had the real chance with, but of course got pipped at the post by Manchester United. So I just think as the days go on, it's going to be increasingly likely that he remains a Newcastle player. They'll have to sit down, smooth things over, probably give him a pay rise with some kind of release clause, like a lesser release clause next summer. I've been saying this for a few weeks now, but look, that's not changed. We've always been saying that for weeks now. It needs to be a huge bid, and they need a replacement. Newcastle haven't even got the backup to Isak in yet, in the shape of Johan Wissa. I've been getting told for days now that this is closer and getting closer, but still Brentford digging in until they bring in a replacement themselves. So the whole thing's a domino effect. I still think the Wissa one could happen quickly as soon as they get a player in. They're obviously trying to sign Dango Outara. I'm told that he could potentially be having a medical in the next couple of days from one source. If that happens, that will then allow Wissa, I believe, to move to Newcastle. There is still a hope you could get him in before the weekend, and he could be in the squad as well for that match against Aston Villa. So look, things are moving. I do still expect Newcastle to be active in addition to Thiaw and Wissa. I'm still expecting a midfielder, at least one more player to come in, potentially more. I just think the Isak deal is going to be such a difficult one to do. But look, let's wait and see. I could change my mind depending on what I hear in the next couple of days, but it just feels I've said all along, I can't see a deal like that getting pushed over the line in the dying embers of the transfer window. It needs to be done with plenty of time to spare. Okay guys, that was my quick update. Still prattled on for 10 minutes. Hope you're all well. Speak soon. Bye bye.